Today's video is going to be so fun. I have a ton of announcements for you guys. We're going to talk about how your book can basically sell itself, and it applies to both traditionally published authors and self-published authors. It really doesn't matter. It all applies. You'll see why in a second. And then we're going to have a cover reveal. One of my favorite things to do besides writing and reading is to actually look into marketing and just learn more and soak up more information. I'm always just looking things up on how to market books well and how to do different things better. So I remember I was reading some stuff on Joanna Penn's website, and I will link her website below because she has tons of cool stuff about marketing. And then I also remember I kind of started picking up and reading some books by Chris Fox, who is another really successful indie author. And the things that they said applies to books across the board, and I could immediately see how it was true for both traditional publishing and self-publishing. And while traditionally published authors might not have quite as much control over some of these, self-published authors have control over all of it. So we need to get it right. It might seem like kind of a duh thing when you first think about it, but then when you apply it to your own book, you're going to be like, whoa, I really need to consider this and actually maybe make some changes. The first one is your cover, and I want you to leave a comment below if you've ever bought a book just for a beautiful cover, because I know I have. We all know that saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but that's literally what a cover is for. People will judge a book by its cover, and that's both if it's just not great, but it also could mean if it doesn't fit the genre. The best example that stands out in my mind is one that I read when I was doing this research, and they talked about how there was this book that I think it was definitely romance. It might even have been erotica, and they had a sword on the front cover instead of like people, and so it looked like a fantasy cover, which meant that a lot of fantasy readers bought this book, and then they were very upset when it was not the genre that they expected at all. That's the negative side of it, but the positive side is that if you get a book cover that speaks to your genre so well that readers just immediately know that's the genre that I read, your book is going to sell really well. The next thing is your title, and that can also, in a weird way, make or break sales. Like, for example, if your book title isn't memorable, then people could be like, well, I read this one book, but I can't picture it. I can't remember what it's called. There's so much that I could say about titles, like how really, really long names are really hard to remember. I'm looking at you, Akomath, or whatever, A Court of... Like, this is the most popular book series ever, and I can never remember it. And, she can get away with it because she's famous, but we cannot. This is just brushing the surface, but your title matters, and it can make or break sales as well. The third one is your back blurb, and I may have done a video about this already. I will put it in the cards somewhere. Basically, as soon as a reader has been sucked in by the cover and the title, they want to know what the story is about, and so they flip it over, or on Amazon they click to the description and they read the blurb. So this is crucial, and it really can also make or break a sale. Those three things all by themselves in both traditional and self-publishing can make a book sell better or worse. When it comes to Amazon, there's two other factors that I know of that also really make a big difference in how your book sells, and that is your keywords and your categories. And I highly encourage you to look into those because I am by no means an expert. I am just learning, but it's a lot of fun to look into. It's really fascinating stuff. And I'm not by any means an expert in the cover and the title and the blurb either, but I'm going to share with you just really briefly what I've learned from Evelyn's Number and just the fun stuff that I've picked up, and then we're going to finally have our cover reveal. We'll start with the blurb because I already did a video on it, and I'll link that below and also put up a card again, just in case you want to go watch it and kind of learn all the factors that go into making a good back blurb that really hooks the reader on your story. But I worked so hard on it, and I had so much help, and I'm really proud of the way that it turned out. It really introduces the world and the character well, and it hooks the reader right away, and it kind of lets you know what the initial conflict is without giving too much away. So currently my blurb is probably my strongest selling point for the book right now. Then you have the title, and I gotta be honest, I'm not sure that Evelyn's Number is the best title because, for instance, Evelyn can be spelled a lot of different ways, and that can cause some confusion, which is like, ugh, that's such a bummer. But if you saw any of my other titles, then you'll know that this truly is the best one that I've come up with so far. I haven't been able to think of anything better than this, because I'm not going to tell you what they are unless I do a title video in the future, but let's just say that they're all crap, and a lot of them were already taken or led to, you know, being compared to accounting books because of all the number stuff. Evelyn's Number is cool in my mind because it lets you know right away that there is a female protagonist and that she has a number, which it doesn't really look like a chick flick type book, so you kind of know that it's probably not a phone number. It's probably a little bit more sci-fi-y, and then it makes you kind of ask the questions, well, like what kind of number, and what does that mean, and what's the world like, and maybe I do kind of want to know and read the blurb. I would say my title is somewhere in the middle. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Now let's talk about the cover of Evelyn's Number. And my good friend is actually a graphic designer, so I was so excited to hire her. She is super talented at graphic design, and she was really willing to work with my vision, but I didn't actually know what that vision should be. Neither of us knew how to create a book specific to a genre. I started reading Joanna Penn's website. I'll link the specific article I'm talking about below. She asks some really specific questions for book sales. She said, is your cover genre specific? Do readers know the instant they look at it that it is your genre? And I looked at Evelyn's Number, the cover, which is beautiful. I love it. It's amazing. And I was like, oh, I don't think that it does say the genre now that you mention it. Oh, crap. I wish I'd known that going into it, because like neither of us knew. We just didn't know. And I was kind of pondering this, like, that's really interesting. I had never thought of that. And then like the very next day, I swear it was like right around the same time, author Lindsay Cummings and author Sasha Alsberg both announced that their book Zenith was actually getting a new cover. It just blew my mind. Like, it opened my eyes to the fact that, oh my gosh, this is totally a thing that people do. When I saw the new cover for Zenith, I immediately was like, well, that's interesting. I wonder if there's any other books like that. And I went to my bookshelf. I keep pointing the wrong way. I know of a few of these books behind me actually that have been rebranded, and they do have other covers out there. And it's really fascinating to me that this is actually kind of a normal thing. So I'm guessing you guys probably know by now which cover I'm about to reveal. It's not Pearl's Number, although that is coming. It's Evelyn's Number, guys. I will always cherish the very first cover of my first ever self-published novel, but I am so excited to tell you that this new cover fits the genre perfectly. Like, wow. I don't even know how to tell you. Okay, it's time. It's time to show you. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Here it is. What do you think? Do you guys like it? Isn't it amazing? I like get goosebumps just looking at it. Like every time I'm looking at it right here. I just love it so much. Okay. Pull yourself together, man. I just love how it says the Number Series Book 1 at the top. And I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but I really love how it says Amazon bestselling author. And that's just pretty cool, right? And the people and the city and the thing they're standing on and the, you know, the things and the sky and the colors and the, oh, okay. I'm going to try to stop screaming at you and tell you about the changes. I kind of told you guys the why, where I really wanted the cover to fit the genre even better, because once people read the book, they love it. But I do think that for the people who really, really read this genre, my cover wasn't quite telling them, you should buy this book. And now it is. It's screaming it. It's saying, buy the dang book, you guys. It's amazing. This is my first proof ever. I have just made it. I'm flashing the back at you guys, but this is the back. She was able to incorporate that necklace symbol still, but in a really cool, like, sci-fi way. I've kind of already told you guys why I'm changing the book, but let's talk about what I'm actually changing for the second edition. The first big change is actually going to be the size. And you'll notice that the new cover is actually a lot smaller, and it actually fits the size that this genre typically is. So now it's going to blend in on your bookshelf seamlessly, which is kind of what I wanted it to do in the first place. I just didn't know how. Like, being fully honest with you guys, the first book when you self-publish is a huge learning curve. And I, again, am very proud of this book because this is the book that I learned on, and I wouldn't change a thing. But how cool is it that it is now the right size? It is the same content right now, but you'll notice it's not actually any thicker at all. And that's because I have learned a lot about formatting since I made this guy. Like, I have a black belt in formatting now. And so if you want, I can make a video on how to format. It's super boring, but I'll do it. I just want to let you know it's really boring. I added some new pages that make it look really, really snazzy. It makes it a little bit easier to sign it in the front. I'm considering adding a map. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I've been experimenting with that. I'm definitely making a map for Pearl's number. I have not decided if I want to put one into Evelyn's number, just because I think that they're charging me more, and if they charge me more, then that means I have to charge you more, because CreateSpace will actually put a minimum price that I can list my book for you guys, and right now it's like $14, which is ridiculous. I do not want to put my book over $14. I would like to make it less for you if I can figure out how. That's one of my to-do list items. And then as far as the story itself, I am actually not going to change that much because I have gotten all good reviews so far. It's not by any means perfect, but it's a very clean copy. I will definitely read it through again just to see if there are any errors that I missed. So if you know of any, now is the time to tell me. Please message me and let me know if there's an error in the current copy. But as far as I know, only one person has ever found an error, and they didn't even say what it was, so I don't even know how to go in and fix it. But besides proofreading, I'm actually not going to change hardly anything in the story, except in the first like 2 or 3 chapters. I'm going to go in and just kind of like tighten it up, which I've already kind of started doing, as you can see. And I'm just going to, get rid of any fluff words, anything that's unnecessary or too telly, or that I can just spiff up a little bit and just make those first few chapters really tight, because I have noticed that beginnings are my weakness. And again, just thinking of how your book will sell on Amazon, there is a look inside feature on Amazon that lets readers see the first few pages. So why not make those the best pages they possibly can be? You'll notice that the cover is very shiny because that's what the first book was. But as I looked at this, I think I'm going to order a proof copy that is a matte cover, and I'm gonna see how that looks. And I don't know, I might poll you guys, so come follow me on social media. All the links are below. I'm gonna need your vote to know which cover I should go with, but I'm kind of leaning towards a matte cover just because, again, that's more genre specific. I have 4 quick announcements, and one of them is about the book being free, so stay tuned, okay? Don't go anywhere. The first announcement is that the first edition has been taken down, and that's probably not a big surprise, but I just wanted to let you know. Because my second announcement is that the new second edition is actually already available for pre-order. But my third announcement is that I feel really bad asking you guys to pay for a book that you may have very well already bought, and so I am going to do something a little bit crazy. On Kindle, there is a way to set an ebook as free for up to 5 days. So I'm going to do it. I want to give you guys a free copy just as my way of saying thank you. Thank you for being here, for supporting me, for following me on this crazy journey. And so don't feel like you need to pre-order it at all during this pre-order stage unless you really want to support me as an author. But I will link it below because you guys should go look at it and just see how beautiful it is, how gorgeous it looks as a thumbnail. It's so beautiful. This sounds weird, but seriously, the thumbnail is gorgeous. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting very sidetracked. But my last final announcement for you guys, I know there's been a lot, but this one is super important, and that is that I don't know yet when the freebie is going to be. I am learning as I go, so it might just happen. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss it, sign up for my email list because that is going to go out the day that the freebie starts, and then one quick reminder email the very last day that it is free so that you can make sure you don't miss it. I will put it right in the description box first thing. That is the only way that I can guarantee that you will know when the book becomes free. I will definitely make sure to post it all over the place, but the algorithms these days make it really hard to tell you for sure if you'll actually see it in time. And I really want you to see it in time. I want to give you a free book. So make sure you subscribe to my newsletter below. Oh, did I mention that if you sign up for the newsletter, you get to see the cover of Pearl's number first? And it always includes the first 6 chapters of Evelyn's number, which I realize now is a bit of a tease since you can't actually read the rest at the moment. Oh my gosh, that was a lot of announcements. I hope everything made sense to you guys. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments below if you want to chat through anything. I'll be happy to answer anything that I can. There's still some secrets, but things will be revealed very soon, so make sure to subscribe if you want to know what's coming up in the future, and ring the bell so you can be notified right when the first video comes out. And definitely give it a thumbs up if you liked it today and if you liked the cover. I really hope you guys like the cover. Okay, I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!